Hello and welcome to the University of Ontario Debate Society Introduction to Debate series. Throughout this series, we'll get you up to date with all of the debate knowledge you need to know in order to debate in meetings or at competitions. We're going to start with the first module out of 6, Introduction to Debate, which is going to cover all the necessary information you need to know about debate at a surface level in case you have never debated before or do not understand what formal debate is. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Debate overview. A debate at its core is a discussion between two or more people that are controlled by rules. The way that I like to describe it is it's like a dinner table argument, except you add some judges and some rules to it. The easiest way to describe competitive debate is through the 5 basic ingredients that produce the activity, as opposed to some textbook description. Firstly, topic and motion. Secondly, disagreement. Thirdly, rules. Fourthly, judge. And lastly, argumentation. Each of these things together is what creates what we understand as formal and competitive debate. Throughout all of this series, we're going to have a module covering each of these individual ingredients in more depth. So let's first understand these different features at a very surface level. Motions. A motion is a clearly worded statement that suggests making some sort of change to the world around us, or typically does. The motion serves as a topic up for debate. So basically, if you hear the word motion, think of it as this is a topic that I'm going to be debating. So, for example, you might have school uniforms should be abolished, or the university should be free to attend. So both of these topics are up for debate and imply that they have two sides, pro and against. And that is what a motion is, a topic up for debate. The second feature we have of formal debating is disagreement. As with most competitions, such as chess, soccer, or an election, there needs to be two adversarial sides for it to occur. You're not just going to have you playing against yourself against chess. Even then, you're still versing yourself. There's still technically an adversary. In the case of competitive debate, there is a government or proposition that defends making the change described by motion or just defends the motion in general, and an opposition that argues against making the change described by motion or the motion in general. This is inspired by parliamentary procedures. Think about the House of Commons in Canada, where we have the government and the opposition, where the government may propose a certain topic or motion, and the opposition is going to be there to be against it. So at least one debater in a debate must disagree with some or all the opinions and ideas of another debater or to actually be a disagreement. Otherwise, it's not up for disagreement, and therefore we will not have a formal debate. The third feature is judges. In a basketball or chess game, the players can self-moderate their results. But in a qualitative activity such as debating, judges are required to determine the winner. Otherwise, you're just going to have two different sides bickering at each other saying they did it better, they were more persuasive, they were more convincing. I think the qualitative aspect of this is thinking like figure skating, where maybe it's not necessarily some kind of move or some goal that you're going to get, but you're going to have some judges rate your performance. This is equivalent to formal debate. Because of the presence of judges, the main goal of competitive debate becomes to persuade the adjudicators, which is a really important idea to keep in mind, especially moving forward. Fourthly, argumentation. To persuade judges, debaters have to make arguments. This is a set of reasons that explain why a motion are either right or wrong, good or bad. This is the bread and butter of debate. Arguments either serve to defend a team's side or attack the opposite team's side. Think about it with your own arguments you've ever had. That's typically how it goes. You might make your own case. You might respond to what your mom said at the dinner table. These two types of arguments are known as constructive, positive, and deconstructive, negative, rebuttal argumentation, respectively. So again, if it seeks to build your side, it's constructive or positive. If it seeks to attack the other side, it is deconstructive, negative, or rebuttal. To win, teams need to utilize both types of argumentation to prove why their side is right, but also why the other side is wrong. The combined arguments that a team presents creates their case. A case explains why an audience should agree or disagree with your side. So it's like the collective efforts that you have made throughout the debate. Lastly, we have rules. Competitive debates are limited by rules which are specific to different formats. At UWO Debate Society, we compete in the British and Canadian parliamentary formats. The rules provided by these formats create constraints on the debate and what debaters can do. For instance, in the British parliamentary style, we're going to have 4 teams debating, 2 on each side, for and against. And the Canadian parliamentary style, we're only going to have 2 teams debating, 1 for and 1 against. Another example is in the British parliamentary format, there's a 7-minute speech limit. Basically, a format just implies that there is debating, competitive debate, which a lot of all the other knowledge we have is still applicable. You're just going to have to adapt it to the new rules that are going to change the way that you might debate in some slight ways, or the responsibilities you might have, or the expectations the judges might have of you. So we've covered the introduction to debate and the 5 different features that exist in this context. Thank you for listening.